Buenos días. Bonjour. Ohayou gozaimasu. Es lunes. Nous sommes lundi. Getsuyobi desu yo. It's time for Metacognition Monday, and we are talking about how your brain learns language. And I am going to be talking about methods of teaching language. And you know me, you know how crazy I am. I use a little bit of everything. Everything that's ever been invented for teaching language, I'm going to throw it into the class because I don't know what's going to resonate with you. I don't know what's going to resonate with you at 9 a.m. that doesn't resonate with you at 1 p.m. I don't know what's going to resonate with period 1 that doesn't resonate with period 6. So I use it all. We're going to talk about one of my very, very favorites today. This is the direct method, and I use a lot of direct method, especially as you learn more language. Now, the direct method is very similar to the natural method, so I'm not going to make a separate video on the natural method. I'll just tell you what the differences are, okay? But you know that I love to read. That's the whole reason I learned so many languages is because I'm a nerd and I need my books, right? So we always start off class with a little story. And I'm using the direct method or the natural method every time I read you a story. In the direct method, no translation whatsoever is allowed. It's entirely in the target language. In the natural method, you can occasionally slip into English to explain a grammar point. But it's not a lot, okay? So for both of these methods, mostly in the target language. So I've chosen a reading passage, all right, and then we'll do, generally the technique, it requires popcorn reading, and I used to do this in my early years of teaching. Popcorn reading is I take my little business cards that I have from you that you made the first day, and I randomly choose one, and I have one student read one line, and I have another student read another line, and then I don't like that as much because there's too much sitting down passively waiting for your turn, so generally I'll have you choral repeat after me instead. Teacher acts out or points or draws. I swear, if there was only, if you told me, I'm sorry, it's illegal for you to use any other method, just choose your one favorite method of teaching language. I really enjoy using this method. I'm never going to rely on it solely, even if I'd break the law if we did that. But yeah, I do love this. I really get into the hammy acting out and the drawing. And here, you can see here, we were reading this and I had to draw that there's a mother, the daughter, and they're both mean. And then the youngest daughter, she's happy, or this one I predicted, because prediction is so important. I have to predict where you're going to trip up. This one I predicted that you wouldn't understand the word fuego or humo. So I put in a little picture beforehand so that I could be drawing to this and gesturing to this constantly as I was reading the story. And then after reading, then I asked, do you have any questions? And then you guys have been really good about trying to ask in the target language. And if you have a problem, then I just keep prodding you. It's that no opt-out thing. I just keep prodding you. And, you'll ask me, como diton, como se dice, nihongo de, blah, 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 wa nan toimasu ka, whatever you ask. And then we get the sentence, and then you're able to ask your questions about the text. Then I'll ask some easy yes-no questions, and I want the whole class to respond, of course. And then simple sentences. Are we looking at a map of the U.S.? Yes, we're looking at a map of the U.S. What color is Mississippi? Mississippi is blue. Is this a mountain range? Is the mountain range in the north? Where's the river? That kind of easy stuff, okay? And then you guys can ask more questions, or I generally have you write some questions down and ask each other. Okay, so mistakes are corrected immediately in both of these methods. And there's this idea of fossilization. And I have to tell you, this took me a long time to deprogram myself from, because I really, this method was used in many, many, many of the language courses that I personally took. And the idea of fossilization is if you learn something and you learn something wrong, because you're not hearing it constantly, it kind of gets ingrained in you in the wrong form. I have better ways of dealing with this now, but time was when I was very, very worried about fossilization. I'm not worried about it right now. But when you do make a mistake, I generally give you a choice, right? I'm like, he have brown hair or he has brown hair. Or sometimes I'll just repeat it to you. I'll just say, he have brown hair. And then you notice that, oh, I must have done something wrong. Or when you get good enough, I'm just raising an eyebrow. And then you're self-correcting. That's where I want you to be. Lessons get lifted right out of the reading, okay? If you need practice with prepositions, and actually, I don't normally like translations, but Harold and the Purple Crayon is rife with prepositions. So when I need to practice prepositions, I'll do that one. And then I'll have props, I'll have my little puppets, I'll draw on the board to help you work your way through the prepositions. Some of the techniques in this pedagogy is my Japanese students will recognize maru ume. That's where we leave out the particles and you have to put the particle in, or just regular fill-in-the-blank sentences, which are also called closed sentences. This technique loves that. Dictation. This technique loves dictation. Étudiant de français, you know how much the French people love dictée. Label a drawing is a lot. You practice pronunciation a lot, write a paragraph. This is a good time to study the proverbs or the idioms of the language. Let me show you some of the things I do. Let's see. Here's a drawing thing. Draw what she says on the phone and write what she says to the police. That was a funny story. I like funny stories. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Oh my gosh, my computer just doesn't want to work for me today. Okay. Here's working on a tauntaun, and then I wanted you to write what Milu would be saying to Le Capitaine, or draw the room. There's a room that's been described, and I want you to draw it, and then you get to label it. What else do we have here? Oh, this is one of my absolute favorites. This was from, anytime there's a story that talks about music, I'm going to do something where you have to write a little song because it's just really funny. And I actually had one class go so to town on this. I'll let you listen to the song. It was great. Had a student bring in professional recording equipment and recorded her favorite one because she thought it was just so great. That was so much fun. This was someone's taking the long way home, so I had to do a little Indiana Jones style map and then write first, second, third. We went over some places that you might say the person goes to. Grammar is taught inductively, especially with the maru ume, the closed activities and such. And the syllabus is based on topics, not on grammar. So you'll notice Duolingo's doing this now. Okay, they'll just have a topic here, not like, oh, it's time to work on past tense. It's time to work on the particle ni. It's always going to be it's couched in some topic. So that is the direct method, also the natural method, and it's one of my favorites. And let's get to work on it right now.